Kicking off things for us tonight is our surprise guest speaker, the one and only former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. Governor, good to see you. How are you?
Thank you so much.
Welcome, the Governor. We got a lot going on right now. I know how much the issue of the veterans issues matter. President's given 3 speeches in 3 days on the military, and I don't get the sense of urgency. Where's the 1-800 number to say if you need help and you're a vet and we promised you help, we'll get it to you tomorrow? Do you feel there's a lack of urgency?
I think there's a lack of understanding on our Commander-in-Chief's part about what the mission of the military is and why it is that we owe a debt of gratitude that's manifested in benefits paid to those who've already earned them when it comes to what our military is all about. And, you know, that was really evident in his speech the other day to the cadets at West Point. Weak speech where truly it was illustrated by his words that he just doesn't understand why our young troops especially are those who would volunteer to sacrifice all for the freedoms in this country.
Yeah, and then of course we have the outing of a CIA operative in Afghanistan. And then this new Obama doctrine emerges where, well, we'll use force, but we won't use force, NATO, the UN, and I'm thinking, what about, but I do believe in American exceptionalism, and I was thinking to myself, where is the Reagan doctrine?
Yeah.
You know, very different philosophy.
Well, what is the Obama doctrine, and do you believe in it? Remember that? Remember that? Mr. Reporter from wherever. No, it's beyond isolationist even. Again, he not being a believer in American exceptionalism, in what it takes to remain a superpower and not shining light, that beacon upon a hill that other countries can look at and count on to be an example, they wishing to emulate it. And that was the Reagan doctrine.
Dick Cheney last night said this president projects weakness again and again, and that as he goes around the world, other leaders do not respect or believe they can count on the United States anymore. Right,
and that was a great interview with the former vice president when he said this is a very, very weak president, and it's not that we are weak as a country, but we are so unreliable now under Obama. But even more than the effect that it has on other countries, my concern is the effect that his doctrine, his policies, his attitude has on those who are volunteering to serve this country, to those whom we owe a debt of gratitude.
How could we let them down? And by the way, what does it say about, if we're going to let our veterans down, we can't get a website up and running in 4 years and now $700 million. What does that mean for everybody else's health care down the road?
Well,
precursor. Somebody I know mentioned death panels.
Yeah.
Is the VA a death panel for many?
That's a great point.
Right? Remember when Governor... How many think it's a death panel for the VA?
It is.
Yeah. Right?
Well, that is what government-run health care will result in. It's inefficient. It takes away choices. And isn't it ironic that those who are willing to sacrifice all, to put their life on the line, to allow the freedom of choices in health care and economic decisions and everything else, our soldiers, our airmen, our Marines, they're the ones getting screwed by the VA, and our Commander-in-Chief is in charge of this ultimately.
Think about this. Our prisoners at Gitmo, there is 1 doctor for every 1.5 prisoners.
They're receiving better care.
We have 1 doctor for every 35 vets. There's something wrong with that.
Well, and in many respects, illegal aliens in our country today are receiving better health care, more benefits than some of our troops.
It's really scary as a time. You are going around the country. You are endorsing a lot of candidates. This was the first time I supported Jack Kingston, and I know you supported somebody else in Georgia. And now they're together, by the way. Yeah, which is kind of nice.
Handle.
I am concerned that the Republican Party in Washington is timid. And by that I mean, I'm looking at Bobby Jindal is coming up next, and Rick Scott, and Governor Perry, and Kasich, and Walker. All these guys are doing great jobs as conservative governors. Where's the vision that if the Republicans get power, they're going to do certain things? I don't hear them articulating what conservatism is. Do you feel the same way?
Well, the politicians in Washington are, of course, isolated within a bubble. They need to get out here with the people, with the real people who are working hard for this country. They're the true patriots. They need to stay connected with the people. Governors, mayors, just your normal average citizen is able to do that. The bigwig politicians in Washington, D.C. evidently feel that they're a bit above the rest of us, and they do become isolated from what the wisdom of the people is.
You see, I think the Republicans in Washington think they're going to coast into re-election because Obamacare is a disaster. We now learn that the first quarter growth is -1%. We might be back in a recession. And what I would prefer is a more inspiring vision. I have 5 things on my list. I want a penny plan to balance the budget.
Good.
I want a consensus plan at health care savings accounts.
Good.
I want what you want, which is drill here now, right?
Drill, baby, drill. Yep,
Drill. All right, drill, baby, drill. I want to secure the borders, and I want school choice.
Oh, well, that is common sense, Sean. That's your problem. You exercise common sense, you know, and that too is.
That's a big problem I've had my whole life.
Is absent from those who are in this kind of elitist group making the decisions for us. But yeah, how about something practical like that?
Yeah.
Republican leadership. Put those 5 bullet points down in writing. Ask candidates if they will support them and if they will do all that they can to ensure that they become policy for this nation. It's as simple as that. And then people understand what it is that the Republican platform is all about and what it is that we intend and will do for the people.
Mark Levin was on last night, and he says no, he doesn't hear the Republican Party talking about limited government anymore, balanced budgets anymore. I don't hear any inspiring message, and I'm like, guys, if you get power, what are you going to do?
Well, you know, we are not going to just coast in into leadership positions. And you know why? Because the mainstream media, supposed to be the referee, is not doing a fair job, obviously.
Yeah.
So we have that against us in our message also. So we have to work even harder and really kind of ratchet down some things and talk about limited government. But that's the beauty of the Tea Party grassroots movement, too, because the Tea Party is all about, bottom line, limit government and allow the people and individualism to grow.
What do you make of this Tea Party establishment schism? Because it's real. At least in my view, it's real. There is a divide. There are a lot of people in the Republican Party that think they don't like what you're doing when you support a Tea Party candidate. They get angry.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Because, you know, Tea Party candidates, for the most part, are just saying, hey, you know, Tea Party, we're taxed enough already. It's the acronym Tea Party. There's nothing radical about that.
You sound like Reagan to me, most of it.
United we stand, divided we fall. And if those who still believe in the planks in the Republican platform, whether they're ashamed to be associated with the Tea Party or not, and I'm not ashamed of it, I'm proud of Tea Party patriots working so hard, that needs to be our foundational mission there is staying united.
All right, you have a big impact on the political process. An endorsement from Governor Palin means a lot to these candidates. I know you're on the road. You just rattled off your schedule before we came on the air. What is your plan between now and November of 2014?
And do whatever I can to help and not hurt, and that is to be out there finding some of those candidates, many who are not on the political map yet, certainly those who are underfunded and not well known or not doing well in polls maybe, and getting people to hear from them and getting people to understand what it is that they stand for, because I'm only going to choose those who stand for constitutional conservatism, those who will stand for those 5 points that you have just pointed out for the rest of us.
Not only just say it, mean it, and fight for it. You know, I like when Ted Cruz fought. I was shocked that he was attacked by his own party.
Yeah, and that's sad.
That was sad.
That's sad, and because he threatens the permanent political establishment in D.C. And speaking of Ted Cruz, we promised him reinforcements for Ted Cruz, for Mike Lee. That's why we need T.W. Shannon. That's why we need Manus. That's why God, all these guys who are here supporting Cassidy, all these guys. And they're working so hard to get these good candidates in there because they understand we promised them reinforcements.
I have one last question for you personally. A lot of people, I bet, how many people, don't get too loud, how many would like to see the governor run again?
Oh.
Would you consider that?
Run for what? Dog catcher?
No,
well,
whatever.
There are millions of Americans who can do the job in elected office.
But very few Americans, if they write a Facebook post, have as much impact as you.
Well,
right?
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And we'll see. You know what? Again, whatever I can do to help and not hurt.
This is the first time you're ducking my question. All right, Governor, great to see you again. Thank you for being with us. Governor Palin.